Did I tell you,
Yeah.
John, I had 8 games yesterday when the patch came
Mm-hmm.
out. I won 1 of those 8 games. 7 of those were
Wow.
losses. I had 2
Wow.
Techies games, both of which were on my team. I had 2 games with the Squirrel on it that we lost somehow. I wasn't playing. And then the rest of the games, I was against Hoodwink. And we lost. It didn't feel good, John. It did not feel
Yeah.
good at all.
Yeah. Well, I'd have to say, you've fallen prey to the greatest mistake that a lot of us make. You never go into a
I
fresh
did.
patch and
I
expect
did.
anything good, and that's your fault. I have to say, we've been through this so many times, Mike. You should know better by now. If you want to
Hey,
keep your MMR, don't go in on fresh patches. Stuff happens, man. Stuff happens.
all right.
It's
Well,
not safe.
The Void Spirit now comes out for TNC, which kind of makes me think now, is it going to be an offlane Viper, right? Because we've seen KP, he really does enjoy playing this offlane Void Spirit quite a bit, and I could see him going down that route. Otherwise, of course, you can throw it to Armel, and he'll take care of it. Either way, very flexible kind of mid and off lane now. And Void Spirit's one of the ones that kind of got a very interesting arcane, or excuse me, not an arcane, but Aghanim shards. You get the extra portals now when you dissimulate, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Which kind of makes it so now you have even more mobility, I would argue. As we do see Team Dog go back to the Arbed Storm Spirit, which is going to be very strong for them. And forgive me, John, I don't actually remember what Storm Spirit's shards do now. I haven't had the pleasure of playing against or with it yet. Do you happen to know?
That's fair.
Have you got a browser up
Yeah.
to check? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
what
got
is
the
it?
rave. He's got the rave, so he can give everyone a charge of Overload, 3 charges of Overload, and an AoE around him, last 12 seconds, and it passively gives the Storm Spirit 40 attack speed. So it's a nice
What?
pickup. Probably not a rush item unless you really value like 40 attack speed. 3 Overload charges for your entire team is pretty nice though. So
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're gonna slot that in immediately at the 20-minute mark as Storm. We tend to see the build up into Bloodstone, so Kaya Bloodstone. You tend to see maybe an Orchid, maybe Yules, into usually a BKB. If not, if you bypass a BKB, you rush the Ags or something else. So it's a bit tight. Could be possible if you're off to a good start. Could be good to come back as well if your team can back you up. In here, you've got Morphling who will benefit from it, Enchantress who can sort of benefit from it. So there are some good options there for that Rave. Not sure if you'd want it. Compare that to Void Spirit, you pointed out, dissimulate with the outer ring. Much harder to catch that Void Spirit when he does dissimulate out. So gives you more options for movement there. I'd say overall, the Storm pickup here from Team Dog, on top of, the shards coming into play, doesn't have too much control to worry about. Like, what do you have in TNC? You have Remnant from Void Spirit, which isn't the most reliable, and this is a very slippery hero in the Storm. So TNC's got to put extra work in to catch Abed Storm out. Looks like he is very comfy picking it here now. You do see the banouts as well. TNC do take out the Darkseer and the Tide, and Team Dog are taking out more core safe laners. The Alk and AM taken out, so gonna be an interesting way to close out these drafts. Team Dog looking like they still need their off lane here.
Yep.
And it should be the Ice hero.
You know what I'm liking right now, John?
Yeah.
Something, and it was banned out anyway, so we're not going to get to see it. But Tide offlane seems kind of broken again.
Yeah.
Have you
I
seen
mean-
this shards upgrade he gets?
Yep.
I tested it earlier. That was my last pub game today. Man, it's a lot of fun. Like going right click, anchor smash Tide. It's just stupid how broken it
Yeah.
is once you get the shards up.
It is. I think the thing with the Tide shards was that right click Tide was always sort of a thing as well.
Right.
In the past patch, right? Like we
just
saw
made it better.
Masaros. Yeah, he used to build Desolator. In fact, if you were winning and you needed more physical, you go Deso anyway. So this just makes it win so much more. Probably not pick up a 20 again, but it's definitely a pickup in the game. Team Dog do close out with a Bat Rider, and
Wow.
TNC do go with a Slark. So, interesting way of closing out these drafts. The Bat, of course, not going to enjoy lassoing the Slark, but everyone else is fair game here. Gabby's Slark, it's one of those heroes that does enjoy a strength morphling. You can kind of rip away, take some stacks up, start to build up some more agi on your end to really take these fights, but they still have this control issue. So you have Remnant and Pounce being it for TNC. There's a lot of ways for Team Dog to slip in and out. They've got a Storm and a Morph. These are highly mobile. Even a Bat Rider might be a bit hard. So TNC's got to work extra hard to keep these heroes locked in place. They've got to win their lanes out. They've got a Viper, Pango, Undying and a Void Spirit. These heroes are very dominant in the early game. They need to play to this fast pace and shut down Team Dog before their Morphling and Storm can find farm here.
Absolutely. Of course, I gotta say shout out to the Twitch chat, John. They're going off right now. I see a lot of dog eats cat. Sorry, not dog eats duck spam going on. So obviously we've got a lot of fans from both sides, both ends of the spectrum. And, well, I look forward to it, John. I mean, based off draft, who do you think does have an advantage going into game number 1?
Oh, I would say Team Dog. I like
Wow.
their draft a lot more. They've got the Storm Spirit. They've got this Morphling for IYD. The hold of TNC just doesn't give me much confidence. You've got Pangolier roll. You've got Remnant from the Void Spirit. You've got Pounce from your Slug. That's it. None of them are the most reliable. They do have really strong lanes, but they will have to really win out here fast. Team Dog, if they fall flat in these lanes, you give TNC an edge. It might be hard to find a space out. You're talking about Morphling that needs farm, Storm that needs farm, and a Bat Rider that'll also need some space to farm up. So
Yep.
can be a bit dicey if they fall too far behind. I think if you draw out these lanes, it will favor Team Dog going into that 10 to 15 minute mark. TNC definitely just need to get themselves an advantage. I'd say if they're like 3k ahead at 10 minutes into the 15-minute mark, if they maintain that 3k lead, they're in a really good spot. But if they don't find that, they run out of time fast.
Well, let's see how it all pans out. Game number 1 of the upper bracket final between TNC and, of course, Team Dog is set to begin. And I look very, very forward to seeing how this one does pan out. Of course, we have to have the question answered. Do dogs really eat ducks, John? We're about to find out. Ducks can be dangerous. In fact, in some parts of Australia, John, this is a true story, by the way. The university I used to go to, back when I was living in Melbourne, they had a big pond where there was ducks. And if you tried to feed or chase the ducks, they would chase you back. Literally all the way back to your apartment or your housing at the uni. They would literally chase you. And bite on you, by the way. So,
Oh, that's unfortunate. And they're still going on. So it's just some context on the all chat as well. They did receive a timer, a penalty, a level 1 penalty here on the side of Team Dog, because Afu took a while. I said Afu had to be in the hospital. He was in an accident, and he comes at the last minute. Everyone rejoiced at the miracle of Afu. And apparently, I don't know what he contracted. He says easy COVID. Stay safe, guys.
yeah, stay safe. But if you are Fu, obviously you just get over it straight away. So no need for him. Took a hospital visit for about, a minute or two and came back completely cured. Fu was the cure all along.
Yeah, that is good news for Team Dog if they manage to maximize that. Still, looks like an even rune start. KP grabbing 2. They will at least start with an early tri lane here, TNC, clumping up top. Look at Febby and Tims camping around the tree line. And IYD spots them, though. So they're aware. Tims takes a couple of hits. They might see Febby come out. Still have the opportunity, but they really have to get the damage in. No control means they just have to nuke them down fast here.
I mean, with the Viper, you can get it done. Paulson, he may be a bit overextending, or maybe not. They don't want that target. KP has yet to skill up anything as well. Generally, you'd opt to go for the Nether Toxin rather than the poison attack to try and push out the wave as the Viper. But for now, KP is just holding on to a skill point to see what he can abuse this lane. And it looks like, of course, we have the TP out. Tims is going to go for the creep pull back behind that tier 1 tower. And he might just take this creep wave to just try and get his own level 2. Which is absolutely fair enough, because the Pango is somewhat useless up until he does have the lucky shot up. And yeah, it looks like he is going to take it. Meanwhile, Paulson was being chased down by KB, but KB now, he'll just try to be as disruptive as possible while his POS 4 is getting an extra level. In fact, he's going to be forced to TP out. He does get caught out of position all the way back to the fountain for KP. So a bit unfortunate for him. He actually sells his Sage's Mask and goes for a Windlace instead. So switching it up very early on here for this Viper.
Yeah, it's an interesting way of playing that lane. Again, it looks like they will just prioritize Tims for the most part, so your Pango is still going to get him level beats up and going. Still, we've got some time. Taking a look down mid, the Spirit Brothers showdown. Void Spirit versus the Storm. Looking like Armel is finding a little bit more early on. Does have really nice wave clear with the Resonant Pulse. Blocks out Abed's opportunities to harass. Abed still has the Static Remnants to play with in the Overload, but looks like he is taking it safe. Armel has been really good in the offense. So the slightly slower start for Abed could mean some issues if he doesn't get relief, especially when those power runes come out. Team Dog will have to at least get their supports out in a timely manner to secure those runes, as if you give Armel a really nice rune here, he could just overtake while Abed doesn't hit that level 6 mark.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same thing goes for both of them right now with those power runes. And, well, that's one thing that was never really changed in the new patch thus far. The power runes still just spawn the exact same way, and it's kind of based on RNG, who does get the rune. I have a funny feeling, John, that there should be a bit more of a minor patch coming out with maybe a map change very, very soon. And that'll probably be one of the changes that does come out. However, top lane, Policy does get pretty low. He is going to survive as now Arfu does rotate back onto KP. This Viper going to be in massive trouble. In your dream is going to be able to pick up the first kill of the game. In fact, they'll even go on to Tims now. And poor old Tims is just going to have to try and swashbuckle away. But they do get the main target, which is going to be KP's Viper.
Yeah, and it's going to be a slightly slower start. This sort of sacrificial start he had is starting to bite him in the bum. Tims is still getting EXP. You are sacking your Viper here. This rotation out from Afu is also because that you're at the point where Ice down. Bot is just able to solo. Like, there's not much Undying can do against a solo laner. Sure, he can stack decays up, but you're also not getting as much value. Decay is a lot costlier to cast out now as well. So Ice is just getting what he wants. He might not be the most farmed in the off lane, but he's getting the EXP, and that's all you really need. So you just enable this Tiny to go around early, and look at Afu. He's already down mid, trying to get some relief off onto Abed, just forcing Armel to walk around as well.
Oh, nice steal on that haste rune, Afu. He got really lucky that it was a haste, but it was a very nice steal away from Armel. Of course, Armel would have really liked that that rune for himself, as the haste would really kind of activate his gank potential once he does hit level 6. Meanwhile, bot lane, Ice, he's getting very low on that Batrider, but he is going to be able to just walk away and just abuse that Firefly movement speed just a little bit. That being said, Gabby, he has had a pretty tough laning stage so far in this Slark, only 14-7. The Ice is still finding himself ahead on the Batrider as we speak. And it's going to be really good news. I mean, you already kind of pointed this out for Team Dog, but these lanes, apart from maybe the mid lane, are going very well for this Team Dog side. And even that mid lane, I mean, he's a little bit behind, but Abed is not that far behind.
Yeah, they're still getting stuff off the map. Abed's still able to sort of play catch-up. Again, barely a wave behind. Saw Paulson being tagged down a bit, but they do manage to grab an even amount of bounty runes each side. So not many scuffles over that,
KB.
although...
He's been caught out here, Arfu. Gonna spot him out. Tims will be around with Febby. They're gonna try and rush the Tiny, but they have no way to cancel a TP. And this is something you mentioned in draft, is they are very, very limited in what they can do. If someone just TPs away, you're either going to need Gabby there, or you're going to need Armel there, until KP has a rod of ATOS up, which he is working towards. But that's going to take a bit more time.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a bit slower for KP in this farm. He's got a tri-lane going again. They're trying to relieve the Viper of pressure. They understand that they can't do anything to Ice, but this might cost them. Look at Afu's position. Really far back, but he isolates one.
He does. Tim's going to be in danger. Soul Rip is going to come out, and Tims will just go for a quick TP away, and he is going to be just fine. Meanwhile, the mid lane, they're fighting over that 6-minute power rune. Abed, can he make it in time? It looks like Arfu is going to be there to take it again, and he will. Febby unable to swipe it away from him, and now poor old Armel going to be very low, but Arfu is unable to break the distance. And so Armel will be able to survive another day. But things are getting very heated in this mid lane, and Arfu may be able to sneak his way in. He does have a mango for the Avalanche toss combination, so he has enough to run it. And if he does connect the Avalanche toss, I believe that may just be enough. But it's not going to be there. He'll leave it be for now. The invis is starting to run out. And maybe go down to the bot lane where Ice needs a bit of help. In fact, he might just be dead. Sticky Napalm, not going to be enough. Gabby is able to pick up a kill by himself on that Slark. And that's something Gabby was starting to desperately need.
Yeah, it's that Slug versus Batrider matchup that's not really nice for Ice. I mean, he can still sustain the lane as a ranged hero with Napalm spam, but Gabby at 6, with the Shadow Dance available, with higher levels of Dark Pact, can just take away a lot of the presence of Ice. So it's at that point where Ice might be treading on thin ground, might just want to consider constantly creep cutting, getting some camps up. You are getting some good stacks out here with your supports out of that lane though. Paulson has worked that top jungle really well, looking at a good amount of stacks to clear out down the line. So the cores will get a good gold injection, and that is something that we talked about Team Dog's lineup needing. You do need that initial injection here on Abed and on In Your Dream, and Abed's already getting started. Just a huge amount of gold that will fly out to him, rushing his Orchid out, and once you have that in a timely manner, so much more control comes out here for Dog.
Well, that bot lane, Ice just avoided a gank. So Febi's smoke was broken, so they couldn't really close the gap on the Batrider. So Armel, he's going to go into the mid lane instead, where he'll spot out Arfu. He does have that level 7, so he wants to make a play right here, right now, and he does make the double jump in. Arfu is going to die to KP, it looks like, and he does. Ice, he was around the area, but he doesn't really have the lasso skilled up right now, and even if he did, I don't believe he would have made the jump in.
Yeah, it's a good movement out. Finally do find some punishment out. Not the biggest target to take, mind you, but this does stall out our Tiny's timing at the 6. Our Tiny's blink timer as well. That is really important even for the supports. So a little bit more waiting has to be done here for Afu. This is buying out so much space for Abedo. He's just playing in that jungle perfectly. You are seeing TNC kind of give that investment to Armel as well. Like, after that kill, he's clearing out his own stacks. He's got his urn ready, along with his bottle, so he is just looking to be active. They might be eyeing Paulson down bot for that, as they're in position.
He's got the Orb of Corrosion now on Gabby, and they jump in. Paulson going to be in danger, and he just gets blown up. Mel going to be there with the follow-up damage, and of course, with Max Dissimulate, you do tend to do quite a bit of damage. So it's a nice little combination there with the Slark, because you can almost guarantee you land the Dissimulate with the Pounce out. Armel with an Arcane Rune could keep going around, but it is going to wear off. Still, Arfu now does show himself in the mid lane. He's going to be safe for now by that tier 1 tower, and I mean, you talked about Arbed farming really well in that Storm John, but In Your Dream, he's farming even better. TNC, I mean, they must know this is happening. It just seems like they don't really have an option as to slow them down yet.
No, they lack the hold to punish a Morphling. They don't have a Spirit Vessel up yet, so they're going to have to wait for Armel to get that upgrade on first, which means that they're just going to allow In Your Dream to do this. They are starting to get a little bit of that same space for Gabby. We're seeing In Your Dream's lead slightly about 300 gold above, so it's not a massive lead by any means, but you're not seeing that massive lead we expected TNC to try and get yet.
Bounty Rune going to go the way of Arbed up at that top lane. In Your Dream going to try and fight out with Tims a bit, but he's going to waveform away. Still Tims does swash into the Rolling Thunder. In Your Dream may have gone a bit too far. The Viper Strike comes out as well. He needs to try and survive. The break is there. In Your Dream trying to tank it, will waveform away, but KP is going to keep the chase up. It's just not going to be enough, however. The Strength Morph is more than enough to keep him up, and meanwhile, mid lane, Armel's going to be in danger. Arbed does get one more attack in, and Arfu is going to be able to toss Armel up, so Arbed can finish off the kill. And that's a big, big shame for TNC. They miss out on the Morphling kill, and they lose Armel in the process.
Yeah, they needed Armel up there with a Spirit Vessel for additional DOT to finish up In Your Dream. Again, ideally, you'd want the full upgrade, not just the urn. It's still a long way off. You can see Armel is queuing up that Spirit Vessel upgrade out, but he is just a bit too slow. You need to find a couple more kills. You are seeing Tim step up to the plate, but again, just with Rolling Thunder, you just don't have enough lockdown.
Armel, he's going to miss the 8th Remnant. Eventually, it does connect onto Paulson, but so he wanted to try and make the play onto Arbed.
Ice?
Meanwhile, Ice, mid lane does get a nice lasso off onto Tims, and it's going to be another nice, easy kill. And the way this game's going so far, Team Dog, they are really starting to take over. You've still got Gabby farming up nicely in the back, but it's a Slark versus Morphling Storm. It's a very, very tough matchup for the Slark later on.
It definitely is. It's a lot of pressure on Gabby if he does want to go for this late game situation. Might be able to find a nice kill, but it looks like Paulson knows better. They do apply good pressure mid. It is defended, so we're not seeing any tower trades taken yet. We're past the 10-minute mark, so this is a bit slower than before. We tend to see tier 1s gone earlier on. Gabby gets a nice snipe, but
Abed gonna try and make the jump onto Gabby. Dark Pack gonna be expended, and there's your Shadow Dance. He doesn't want to risk anything with this Storm at the moment. And luckily for him, Abed did not have the Orchid up yet, but he will very, very soon. And that's gonna be the point where if you're Gabby, you start to shake it a little bit, as you are gonna lose this mid tier 1 tower. And Abed is ever so close now to that Orchid being up. And assuming you get the Dark Pact off preemptively, you're going to be fine. But if you don't, and that silence does come out, you are just going to be gone as Gabby.
And right now, TNC using this downtime to just farm up that jungle. They're playing around that top jungle really well. They haven't really traded for a tower, though. Like, again, their mid-tier 1's gone. They're going to look for the top-tier 1 instead. Not the biggest objective for Dog to drop. They've already taken that bot-tier 1. So they're already one step up. They maintain a 3k lead as well at 30 minutes. We talked about the timings TNC needed to hit. They wanted to be 3k ahead before the 15-minute mark. So still not finding that start with their lineup. They are closer and closer towards this route of Atos on KP that was pointed out. So once that's up, maybe you get more control. The Spirit Vessel is only lacking the recipe as well. So you've got some good item spikes here for TNC. The issue then is they've got to find In Your Dream. In Your Dream, he's playing that triangle. He was playing in the bot jungle. He does have his Eagle song up, so he's just lacking the Ghost Scepter for his shotgun. Once you have that, he's going to be nuking people down as he wishes.
Ice gonna run into Armel. They do get the Aether Remnant. Ice just gonna go for a TP out, and they can't stop it. They cannot stop it. And John, these item timings from Team Dog, they are coming online way too quick. Orchid up at 13 minutes. You've got the Blink Dagger coming out on Arfu in about 30 seconds. He just needs to take a creep camp out. It's going to be a very kind of terrifying next 10 minutes, as that Orchid Blink is going to be a real nuisance to TNC. As now Abed going to get the Orchid off, and Armel has no way to purge it off. They get the Vortex, Ice will commit the lasso, and it's all well worth it to kill off Armel on that Void Spirit. So he's kind of the beating heart of TNC in this game right now, and well, his game is not going that well. He just got a Spirit Vessel, but is not going to be able to abuse it quite yet. And the way this is going for TNC, it starts to feel like most of this game is going to be on Gabby's shoulders.
Definitely is feeling that way. They do smoke up, but this is without Armel. It's a really awkward smoke without your Void Spirit. I'm not sure what they hope to accomplish.
I believe it's
drawing
a
a
smoke,
line
John.
up. Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, we've already seen the issues, right? If you drag KP, Tims, and Febby, they just TP out. You literally can't stop it. Like, maybe with Aetherus.
Gabby's got a Diffusal Blade. He's going to run into Polison. Get stunned up for a second, but they are going to get the kill. That was the Diffusal being shown to the side of Team Dog. As now Armel misses another Aether Remnant, and the Remnant in by Abed. Straight onto Gabby. They'll get one. Onto KP. They'll get another. And they know where Tims is. They're a bit low on mana on Abed. Tim's going to try and juke them out here on the Pango. But instead, you just go after the Tombstone. No reason to chase down the Pango when you can just get free gold safely like this for Abed. Yeah, a lot of misses for Abed, but he does eventually get the kill. That's a 5k net worth lead though, John. Team Dog, they're well and truly off.
They really are. The TNC draft needs to find something within the next, I'd say, 10 minutes. If you reach 25 minutes with this deficit, it's all down to Gabby. And you see what happens when Gabby shows up. Like, yeah, he finds a support kill with his Diffusal. He needs a lot more than that. He's going to need a BKB this game, if not a Lotus Orb, or not the Lotus, Lincolns or something, just to block one instantaneous piece of control. But it's just such a dicey spot for him now.
Yeah, he's going to need it ASAP, John. In Your Dream's got a shotgun up now. That's a quick Ethereal Blade on In Your Dream. And that is going to spell more problems as, again, the item timings from Team Dog are just coming out way too quick, and now mid lane, KP trying to farm up is just going to get bursted down. He can't survive the Orchid damage, I don't believe.
Oh.
However, Arbed getting low, but Tims could not make it in time, and the TP away from Arbed is going to be good. They'll at least kill off Arfu on the Tiny. It's just not a worthwhile trade, as you did have to give up your Viper for that.
No, it's a huge win for Dog. They're constantly building up. We've seen what happens when Vipers fall behind. They tend to take the backseat and farm. That does allow them to take the mid-tier 1, but maybe even find a skill in Paulson.
Well, Soul Rip's going to come in. Gabby, a nice pounce in, and Paulson is going to go down. Arbed unable to help out, but now Ice is going to be around the corner. It looks like they're not really that interested. I don't think Paulson really minds dying that much as your position 5 Enchantress. And I think for Gabby, although he is getting these kills, he probably definitely wants something a bit more valuable than the position 5.
Yeah, definitely. He's getting some permanent Agi stacks though, so no matter what, at least you get some stat value there for the Slark. He is going for this SNY build as well, so again, orienting himself in that mid-game-ish or early-late game part of the game, and should still find a good timing on the SNY. We're seeing Gabby sort of keep up with In Your Dream. He's not falling too far behind, just about 1.6 gold behind, so it's not too bad yet, but TNC, the impact you're seeing from KP is starting to diminish. We haven't even seen the effect of his Atos fully. Like, it's been there for so long, but it hasn't led to anything substantial just yet. The Spirit Vessel for Armel has been sitting at 4 charges. They just have never been able to rotate onto In Your Dream, and that's the target they want with a Spirit Vessel. So it's just a missed item if they're not finding these kills that they want.
Well, Gabby, he knows Ice is in the tree line somewhere. Tim's going to join in. Does connect with the Swashbuckle, but Ice is going to throw out a Flame Break, and they give up on the chase. He is just way too quick with these Boots of Travel and the Faded Brooch there. Even the Windlace on top. It's just such a fast Bat Rider at the moment. Meanwhile, they've got to kind of pay some attention to this mid lane as the tier 2 tower is going to start being attacked. Looks like KP is there on defense duty, while TNC, well, the rest of them are going to find out In Your Dream, but can you burst this Morphling down? It looks like the answer is probably going to be no, but they might just give it a shot. Loop around into the triangle. Again, spotting out this Morphling. Gabby, he's going to sneak in. Does get the pounce off. They disarm him as well. In Your Dream does actually get bursted down. A very nice kill. Can they find any more? Not quite, but that is a very valuable one to pick up.
Yeah, just rather unfortunate for Team Dog, but that was what TNC's been looking for I'd say, the entire past 9 minutes since they got these early item pickups. So they find a big kill they want. They do manage to get a good amount of gold running their way. That was a 600 gold swing towards TNC. So a good injection there, but they leave themselves vulnerable. Look at this, Team Dog. They are smoked up now.
That they are, but Arfu going to have his smoke broken, and TNC, they still have the high ground. So they have the advantage here going into Arfu. It's going to be a nice, easy kill. And great presence of mind there from TNC to continue to hold that high ground and read the smoke rotation. However, Ice, Lasso, not going to be out. The Glimmer Cape is there from Gabby. He does lasso up Tims instead. Going for the easy kill, but the chase is still on the pounce.
Ooh.
It does not connect. Gabby just kind of flew right past him. Is now towards the top lane. Arbed going to go after Armel, but he will just dissimulate away, and he should be alright, or maybe not. He's used both his astral steps. But Arbed is not going to continue this chase as KP's around now. Rod of Atos going to come in. Gabby, no pounce out yet. It was on cooldown. They do miss out on a very valuable kill on the Storm Spirit, but I suppose for TNC, they'll probably just be satisfied that Armel survived that initiation from Arbed.
Yep, it's a good save out for Armel. Really 4-4 there for Arbed. You can see that he's trying to apply as much pressure as possible while he's got this huge boost on his Storm. You are starting to see some catch-up from TNC. Armel, in comparison to Arbed, is just about 1,000 gold behind, so he's not lagging too far behind. The biggest issue for TNC is KP, but this is a Viper. And KP just needs to slowly build into these aura builds. We tend to see still only holds a hood though, but they do smoke up once more. They don't have any major cooldowns here in TNC, so they can keep running.
Well, they run straight into Ice. It's a nice pick-off to get, and the run of Atos is going to be up from KB, and that'll mean Team Dog will lose another. Let's some gold that KP desperately needed on this Viper. And with that, they may even rush the Roshan pit, knowing that Batrider, your main scouting tool and kind of initiation for Team Dog, is not going to be there. So this Roshan going to go down very, very quickly. And your only real option is to throw Arbed into the pit and hope he can steal it away. But it looks like they may not even attempt it.
It's going to be a big objective TNC is allowed to go through for free. And, well, they're not contested at all. So Gabby gets that second life. Unfortunate for Arbed, he can't really risk it. Again, there's not much stuns to worry about. So that actually would have been relatively safe for Arbed, all things considered. But that does give TNC some breathing room here for Gabby to keep his farm up. He does have his SNY done, along with that diffusal that we saw earlier, working into his Scotty. So your Slark is actually hitting some pretty good item timings here. In contrast to In Your Dream, still saving up for his Manta, is very close to it. So he's also meeting his timings well. But that gap between In Your Dream and Gabby has shrunk. It's still at the steady 1,000 gold. It means less and less as this game goes on. So the lead Team Dog has had, well, it's starting to sort of feel less significant as this game drags out, and Team Dog has to be aware of that. They've got to be cautious with how far forward Ice is, as he's been the most vulnerable to these pickoffs.
They see Gabby up at that top lane, and Arbed is going to zip in with the Orchid out. Gabby, he did not Dark Pack preemptively. He does have the Aegis, but he might just lose it. That'll be one life. Can they get him a second time? They're going to try, but Gabby will shatter down straight off the bat and just run away as his team is coming in to back him up. But can they take this team fight now without the Slark ulti? So the answer is going to be no for TNC. They'll just happily back out and accept the fact that they did just lose the Aegis. I think for Team Dog, they're just going to be satisfied with the fact that that Aegis is down now. In fact, they're ready to go again. They've smoked up. They want to try and make a play while knowing roughly where TNC are going to be in terms of location. But in fact, they are running down south. They do spot out Armel on the Void Spirit. It's still a very, very big pick-off to get. Does have the Yules up, but the zip in from Arbed into the Vortex and the Avalanche toss is going to be way more than enough. They get another kill onto Armel. That Team Dog, they don't really have an objective to go for, but they can still just farm the map. That's probably the best they can ask for right now.
Yeah, I mean, if they get this
Gabby.
game dragging longer and longer.
Shadow Dance going to be out in time again. He almost got blown up, but now In Your Dream could be in danger. Viper Strike's going to be there. In Your Dream going to try and fight this out, but Arbed zipping right into the backlines. Gabby, he got the Dark packed off in time. He will survive as they keep chasing down In Your Dream, but he's also going to be alright. Both cores able to just kind of get themselves away from very dangerous predicaments. That was some quick fingers from Gabby to get that Dark packed off. He avoided both the Vortex and the Silence out from Arbed.
That's really big, this time being wasted by Dog. TNC don't get to farm too efficiently as well, though, so both teams are just sort of poking at each other, trying to get a lead. You are, at least, again, having that potency here on the side of Team Dog. If it goes late, you've got these upgrades for your Storm, you've got the Morphling down the line, which is going to stay big for TNC. There's still a hanging, lingering question on how far your Slark can take you. Like, looking at Gabby, he's been sort of stuck at the Scotty for a while. He's going into the Ags afterwards. And that was buffed up, right? Like a slight increase to the range on the counts. Not sure if it's going to be enough to really keep that in. Of course, we used to see Ags rush Slark before. So it does have have its place. It's been done a lot before. It's been a while. So we're going to have to see if Gabby can maximize that. But that's still way down the line. Like, he still has to finish the Scotty first.
That he does. They want to go after this tier 2 tower now. TNC will slowly get started. Pretty much everyone there from TNC, but Arbed going to zip in with a massive silence, and now Arfu, the Avalanche toss is going to be enough. They've killed off the Slark. Armel, he committed both his Astral Step to try and fight this one out. Tims will also commit the Rolling Thunder, but they definitely have to run as Ice. He's not done. He wants the lasso. He gives himself a whipping as he chases down Tims. Tims had that Glimmer Cape, but it's not going to last long enough. He'll try to swashbuckle away, but they have the control there from Arfu. And I don't believe they need the lasso, but they will commit just in case. And In Your Dream the one to pick up the triple kill on this Morphling is going to be very, very happy about that.
And these are big wins coming out for Team Dog. They're keeping Gabby down. They're increasing the lead with IYD. His BKB is pretty much almost done. Once you've got that on IYD, suddenly that Spirit Vessel's not an issue. What's that small control TNC's had, it's not going to be an issue as well. They keep going.
Yeah, they've got KB there in the mid lane, and the Avalanche toss with the Orchid is going to be way more than enough to take down KB. However, Gabby is there with the Diffusal Blade, slowing up our Fu. But he is unable to chase as the 4-staff away was there. That'll pretty much be it. Team Dog not forcing anything too far. They're starting to understand their limits here with this draft, and they're just finding little wins over and over again, and that's generally the way to win a game of Dota 2.
Yeah, just taking these small wins, building it up. They've already secured a lot of the map for themselves anyway. They are pretty much all tier 1s down. For the side of TNC, they've taken 1 tier 2 as well here in Team Dog. So they do hold most of the map on their end. They've got this BKB now for In Your Dream. That's done in that downtime. So he's going to be very hard to control indeed for the side of TNC. And it's really just the Gabby game now. Look at the farm difference. Armel is kind of tied up with his Storm, kind of tied up with Abed, but he needs his item timings to be out soon. The Ags is going to be a major spike for him. Just can't come out fast enough.
In Your Dream is going to haste through an active. They're going to rush in, and they go straight after that Viper again. They just want KP dead every time, but Armel has jumped in after Arfu. It's not going to be enough damage. In Your Dream just running around trying to find another target, but he does not want to go into the high ground of TNC. Just going to back off once again after getting a very nice off-lane pick-off. In fact, they might reinitiate. In Your Dream, he still has that Void Spirit morph. So he can feel quite confident in being able to just back off if he needs to. Looks like they're not going to really rush. They're happy again to go back to the triangle and farm up. And I believe both these teams are probably going to wait out the Roshan timer now. As that really is the big objective for them to both go for once it is up. And we are going to find out in about 1 minute when that is going to be available.
Yeah, just a safe play for Team Dog. They hold control in that triangle, so they can easily swing to that Roche anyway. They've got a courier watching already. They're constantly keeping the mid and top lane shoved. There's no real opportunity to swing for TNC unless they smoke, which they have.
Oh, In Your Dream, he's going to be careful, but OKB, he shows himself for a second, maybe trying to bait In Your Dream in, but now Armel jumps in. Not going to be enough, however. Paulson does die. Arfu in trouble as well, will go down. So they do get 2 supports for their trouble. I suppose the best thing they could hope for right now is a very early Roshan timer for TNC. Even if it was early, it probably wouldn't be enough time to take it out before the supports do come back online for the side of Team Dog.
No, it's they don't quite deal as much that much damage just yet. It's still all on Gabby. For that right click, the Roche timer is not short enough. It's 1.5 minutes, so they're probably going to have to face up against these supports. You still got the issue of Abed zipping in as he pleases to take the Roche as well. As again, you still lack this control to lock in Abed. You've got to get the Atos off at a good time. And looking at Abed's buildup, he is going for the Ags on the Storm. So we're going to see the AoE Vortex come into play, the mini Black Hole, the mini RP. Just that added control on top of everything else they've already got is going to make it harder and harder for TNC to get their positioning right. You do have the Ags up on Armel, though, so this silence is going to be playing a big part. If you can land this on Abed, who did not opt for any defensive item, then you could find yourself some wins. Like, the Storm is very vulnerable like right now without a BKB or anything else to purge off, but Team Dog, they do smoke up.
Now, they actually have absolutely 0 way to purge off that silence on the side of Team Dog. So it is definitely very, very valuable here for Armel. Nothing like a Lotus Orb going on. No BKBs apart from In Your Dream. And they do jump in now. They show off the Aghanim Scepter from Armel. So if you're Team Dog, you are well aware that that is there on Armel now. Love the fact that KP has has a casual fluffy hat going on. Looks very nice on him.
Yeah. Gotta love the name of that one. It combines into the weirdest stuff, I have to say. The strangest thing about that hat. Didn't know hats that had that many uses.
No. Roshan is going on now. TNC, I'm sure, are aware that this could be happening. They are probably going to start moving their way in, but they've got to hurry up because that Roshan is getting very, very low. TNC still hanging around the mid lane, perhaps not realizing it is happening, and now they will, but it is way too late. So it does go down. Looks like TNC were kind of assuming there was a smoke going on. It's now Ice. It's going to Firefly through, going after KP. Does pop his BKB and does get the Viper out. Meanwhile, Arbit zipping in, going after Gabby. They're trying to kill off Arfu, but Arfu's still alive. Running away. Gabby, he's popped that ultimate. He's going to try and make the chase onto the Tiny, but it looks like Arfu is still alive. He does eventually tick out to the Spirit Vessel, but now Arbit back in, going after Gabby, but he pounces away. Onto Armel. He will Astral Step and Dissimulate, and he is going to be fine. It is still going to be a 1-for-2 trade, the way of Team Dog. And on top of that, they are going to be able to take down that tier 2 mid tower, and they still hold on to the Aegis. It was not taken off in your dream.
Yep, they've got nothing to worry about here on the end of Team Dog. Like, they've got control of the map. They could easily go for the tier 2 top if they wanted to, but they're just going to let the creep wave do that with, what, four range creeps, so just a lot of damage coming through. Still, TNC... At least they find Afu. It's better than nothing right now, but they really need to start to find a grip on this game. The Scotty's been up on Gabby. He is still saving up for his Ags here. So once you have that, maybe the Pounce reach, it's going to allow you to do a little bit more here. Get yourself out safely as well. But you start to worry about the Ags timing for Abed. He pretty much has the gold if he wants to buy it out right now. No, he still lacks around 800, but once he has it, in that 800 gold, you're going to ask for a lot of trouble here, just giving the Storm this much space. Abed's not been punished once at all. He's 2-0 right now, and that's just perfect. And, oh, boy.
I can't buy item. You just bought the Blink, though. Ice. Armel, GG.
Gotta love Ice. You know, I was gonna say when he said that Afu was in an accident, I was gonna. Did you do that, Dice?
Never mind.
Just to make things interesting. All right, Ice.
I'm pretty sure Ice is trolling. He did buy the Blink. Maybe it was a bit of lag going on. There is a bit of lag in game right now, I've got to say, John. So to answer your previous question, no, the issues weren't fixed. So there you go. On the brighter side, though, we have a Squirrel hero now. So it's all worth it, you know? Who needs FPS in Dota 2?
No one does. It's a beta game. Why are you crying?
I'm not, John. I'm completely happy about this. TNC. They're going to hang out in the dire jungle now. Tim's going to be there with his team. They want to try and force down this top tier 2 tower. Gabby is very, very close to his own BKB up on the Slark, and it seems like he does need it to be able to feel like he can actually just stand there and fight. While he's going for that, however, In Your Dream does have the Eye of Skadi up himself on the Morph now, so he is feeling a lot stronger on that Morphling. As we can see, Team Dog, they're having a look around, trying to find where TNC is. Not gonna spot him out quite yet, but they are nearby.
Yeah, well, you've got the Ags up on Abed, so mini Black Hole, mini RPs in play. That control is going to be killer, especially
Oh, jump in, Ice, a nice lasso out again onto the Viper. KP gonna get bursted and Arbit zipping into the backlines, going after Gabby on the Slark. They found two in that Vortex. Armel, he was in danger, but he does survive. Meanwhile, In Your Dream, gonna waveform away and try to buy himself some time as Arbit keeps going on to Febby. The Soul Rip, not gonna be enough. Gabby coming back in with the toss out from Arfu. He's gonna try and fight this one out with the Shadow Dance. No, he will go for the TP away, and he is gonna be fine. It's still a 2-for-0 trade. They kill off the Viper, they kill off Febby on the Undying. And with that, a 10k net worth lead now out for Team Dog. They might be able to try and force down that top tier 2 tower.
They've got the option if they wanted to. Still, Gabby's got this BKB.
Gabby's gonna try. He's gonna go into Paulison. In Your Dreams around, and Tim's gonna get tossed back in. Paulison is actually still alive, but does finally go down. But Gabby, have you gone too far with this BKB? Ice comes in now. No lasso available, but Gabby is dropping very, very low. He's trying to run, but the Vortex is out from Abed. He holds him down, and now KB is also gonna die. Oh, and he has no buyback gold. He just bought that BKB up.
Yep, it's a big loss there for TNC. They could easily just lose their top D2, maybe even the high ground. But with 2 supports down, and with them being fairly low here on the side of Team Dog, looks like they're just going to be cautious about this. Take their time. Inner Dream does still hold the Aegis, but that's only got about 20 seconds left. Not too much time for one though.
Mid lane, zipping in onto Tim's again. He's trying to go for the Rolling Thunder, but he's been silenced up by the Orchid, and now the lasso's there. Ice ensuring they get the kill. And look at that, a free tombstone, John. They'll try to go for it, or maybe not. They'll lose the Aegis.
Ooh.
The timer was getting fairly low. Tim's Rolling Thunder is going to land once, but In Your Dream is able to waveform away. Melts on the chase, however, catches him out. Can they take him down? He's been broken. However, Abed with the Vortex again does catch out the Viper, and now they'll turn back around. They got the Resonant Pulse out. In Your Dream wanting to fight this one out now. They'll kill off Armel. They do not have buyback on him either. A 16k net worth lead now for TNC. Or excuse me, rather Team Tog. TNC have the 16k deficit. It's only getting worse as time does go on.
Yeah, this lineup's just not built for going this late on the side of TNC. So it's time they stack all their eggs into that Gabby basket, which they have been doing this entire game. It's just that Gabby's now 6k behind In Your Dream. So that is a lot more significant, even at this point in the game. That's one major item that In Your Dream is going to have ahead of anyone else. And In Your Dream is just about done with his own butterfly. So not only is it going to buff up his nuke with a shotgun, he's going to right-click like a madman. He's going to dodge some damage coming out from our Slark, who has not itemized for any sort of MKB. You're going to have to catch him in that break with the Atos, but that is such a tall order because of how slippery Abed In Your Dream is. And if you do use that Atos on him, you kind of leave the Storm to keep running around. So it's a pick your own poison kind of situation for TNC, and they just can't handle all of these issues at once. They're going to have to find a way to get that done.
Oh, he can smell KP, John. Ice has been all over KP this game. Going in again, we'll find him out, and poor old KP is going to die. It's been a very, very tough time for this Viper in this game number 1. And, we'll see if they can improve it. I mean, we've got tier 4 items coming up now. Of course, you saw the tiny Arfu. He does have that Trickster's Cloak up, which actually seems very valuable on the tiny, having that 6 seconds of invisibility. As well as that, I believe Gabby found that, I don't even know what it's called, that lightning neutral. The Stormcrafter or something.
Yeah.
I don't know who's got it though. Nobody's holding it quite yet. Maybe they just deem it as not very useful.
It's Ice has got it, so it was on Team Dog's side, and it's really nice in him. You know, mana regen's always nice. He's not gonna have any issues now. He gets a little Cyclone as well.
Lasso is gonna be there with the Firefly out. This Morphling gonna be in danger. Or rather, not the Morphling, but Bebby In Your Dream is gonna come in and happily take the kill. By the way, John, did we mention that Abed has a Timeless Relic?
Yep, always nice. We've seen this so many times when the Storm has the Ags as well, right? So you've got an even longer duration on that Vortex. Really nice for Abed to play with, and that just means TNC is going to have to watch themselves, stay on their toes. They still hold on to this last outer tower, but I'm sure you are starting to get a bit antsy here on the side of Team Dog. You do know that the next rush is going to be 2.5 minutes away, so a little bit of a longer respawn, which means that there is a little bit more time here for TNC to perhaps build some farm up, clear out all their tier 4s. Hasn't all dropped yet. That could give them a little bit of a boost. Still have a massive deficit to try and overcome, though.
But they do. Up at the top lane, KB in the tree line, getting ready to push out the creep waves that are coming as they really need to defend that outer tier 2 tower, but never mind, In Your Dream does just come in and take it out himself, even without a creep wave. And this Morphling is very, very scary. He is well and truly out of control. There goes Tim's courier at the secret shop, also going down. Like Gabby got a trickster's cloak of his own now, so does have a bit of utility with that invis, and he is a bit more tanky on the Slark with that resist, but whether it proves to be enough is a different question entirely. Luckily for the side of TNC though, Team Dog, even with a 22k net worth lead, are respecting the draft of TNC. So they're not really interested in rushing too far forward yet. They've got to be careful now because TNC, they have smoked up. Paulison, it's not really the target they want, but they're going to have to settle for what they get. Abed, however, a three-man vortex. He zips in with an avalanche toss. Fu already getting rid of Armel. Now KP's gone. Tims will also die. Aeon Disc all without. Gabby, he's trying to fight it out, but Febby's also going to go down. It's Gabby versus the world once again, but Fu going to just toss away Abed. Not allow Gabby to get anything out of this, and Gabby will be forced to BKB TP away. That's a 4-for-0 trade. I suppose they did get Paulison and forced him to buy back, but it's an Enchantress. It may as well be a 4-for-0.
Yeah, it's not a big target at all for Dog to lose out on. They're going to be able to push 2 sets of lanes simultaneously with Ice Ice just cutting the top one. And TNC, they don't have any big core coming out for 40 seconds. All they have is Gabby, so he's just doing what he can, split pushing the bot lane. They will give out these set of racks down mid, potentially even top. Heck, might be all of them if Team Dog really wants to play it that way. That's just how much of a lead they have. And the options for TNC are super limited for defense. Their lineup just doesn't do it that well.
If they don't, Ice, he's having a look around, see if he can find a target to go on. Not that he has the lasso anyway, but he'll have it up for the next team fight, just about 8 seconds away now. They really may not need it, however, as these racks are just going down so quick to In Your Dream. KB going to rotate around the Viper, trying to go after the Morphling by himself. He gets the break off, and now Gabby from the backlines with the Vortex Arbed. He got the target he wanted. Armel's going to jump in, but is it too late? They'll buy back on Gabby. They're going to try and make something happen, but all their Raxes are gone, and everyone is just TPing away. They're going to find nobody by the looks of it here, TNC. A very unfortunate turn of events for him. 35k net worth deficit as well for TNC, and what do you do now if you're this Radiant side? It almost feels like you've got to make a Hail Mary play, but it's just very tough when there's a 35k net worth lead for Team Dog.
I think if they want to play it safe, they wait for an Abyssal. If they want to take a risk, they smoke up and just go hunting again. They're just running around right now. They spot the Roche. That is also spotted out by the Courier of Ice Ice Ice. So both teams are aware of that.
Abed, a three-man Vortex out again. It's just massive in KB. He's going to get blown up. Armel's trying to fight back, but Gabby's gone. Febby's gone. Armel the only one left, and they just call it. They have had enough of this game one. And Team Dog are off to a very, very good start in this best of 3, as they do take game number 1. They enjoyed themselves some Peking duck, John. It was very, very tasty stuff.
It definitely was. Team Dog just playing out of their minds there. Really good lanes coming out. Very solid draft. They got some favorites to come out. The Bat Rider, which tends to have been banned out, makes its appearance. The Abed Storm, not killed once. 6-0-18 for Abed. A perfect game for him in the Storm, and that is a scary prospect. I think that's something TNC should really respect. The Ice 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 Bat Rider and this Abed Storm just created so much space that In Your Dream just got the freest lane of his life, the freest jungle of his life, and got that build-up. TNC, we talked about the issues of this draft. Needed to play a lot faster, needed to win out the laning phase. It did not. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure out what sort of playstyle they can bring up to punish Team Dog.
Absolutely. Of course, with that, John, we are going to have a very short 10-minute break. And once we are back, we do get into Game 2, and we'll see how they do switch things up to try and make a bit of a comeback here for TNC. Until then, it is MLP and JohnxFire. We'll see you all again very, very soon.